So, this is a Frenzied Zealbarb. He's using Voice of Reason. The rest of the gear is, pretty straightforward. This Passion is very nice. As you can see, it's got +3 to Zeal. These are 1.07 laying of hands, so they're very OP. But everything else is pretty much what you would expect. Faster hit recovery charms for hitting 5 frames, I think it is. I have to look that up, but yeah. On switch, just Heart of the Oak and a Spirit. And the Merc with his general craptastic armor and Infinity. So, gonna do, a run or two here and just go over basically, well, the basics. Talking. How not to. Alright, so this is on Players 3, and I don't think it's any real surprise to anyone when I say that a Voice of Reason Frenzied Zealbarb isn't so hot at Players 3. It's not like he has, a lot of enhanced damage. I was a little hasty on that rejuve. Good. Need a repair. So yeah, as you can see there, he's not particularly quick at all at Players 3. So let's drop it down and let's go take care of this. Look, everybody, it's not planning ahead properly. Yay! Wow. It's also hitting wrong buttons. It's fun for everybody. So yeah, I went with Voice of Reason because I was not particularly thrilled with using Rift. First of all, it requires basically a caduceus. Yeah, that's the only elite scepter that I can get 4 sockets, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I would lie to you good people, but I'm not trying to. And there's a big difference in damage. It doesn't sound like a lot when you say that there's 4 average damage difference between a Colossus Sword, which is what I'm using, and a Caduceus, but it adds up to an actual big deal. Apparently, trust me. And beyond that, I just have an issue with the tornado on Rift. It doesn't make sense to me. Alright, this is yeah, this is fun. Holy Freeze. Oh, isn't it great? There we go. Get in there and actually do something. I basically can't do anything without Infinity. Yeah, basically, you would think, or at least you might think. I wouldn't say you would have to, but you might think. I was wanting to use Infinity because it combos with the elemental damage. In this case, it's Ice Blast, right? Yes, Ice Blast and Frozen Orb. On the weapon, but really, the real truth of the matter is, without Infinity, this guy just can't hit anything. Which is a sad case to be in as a barbarian. I think if he were to be in Harrogath right now, his friends would be making fun of him. And that's a sad thought. I was about to say when you think about it, but then I stopped myself, because I would have had to hurt myself. But yeah, so went away from Rift, went with Voice of Reason, and I kind of think Voice of Reason is sort of a budget version of a Frenzied Zealbarb, just because, you know, it's, well, Voice of Reason is certainly no grief or death, you know. It's cheap to make, and, you know, it's more cool, I guess, even than budget, really. But I wanted to give it a shot. Like, when I came up with the Frenzied Zealbarb, this is one of the first things I thought about. Like, I just figured this would be a place that people, if anybody cared, this would be the place you could take this build and have, you know, just have fun with it. So I wanted to give it a shot. And obviously this guy is a little bit better geared than what I would expect most characters to have using this, but I don't think the difference is as big as you might think. Oh, Raw Rune. Raw Rune, best rune. Couldn't get another one. So unlucky. And, you know, so I think it's just something I wanted to try and give it a shot. So, speaking of trying, I do, though, want to go back to the original Frenzied Zealbarb and take a look at just how that works. And I didn't mention it. I put over a 1.07 Ethereal Colossus Sword, Death. This is what we're swinging now, and as you saw, we've moved up to Players 8, because I'm hoping at least that this weapon will, you know, will deliver its namesake. And I guess this is as good a time as any. When you're dealing with a Frenzied Zealbarb, and one of the things that just may seem odd or unintuitive is just how do you know what the heck you're doing, right? Like, because obviously you have a set amount of time to do whatever it is you want to do with the build. You've got to fit it into the 6 seconds that Frenzy lasts. So, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself, because the first thing you want to do when playing the Frenzied Zealbarb is to make sure that you are getting full value, that you're actually getting all of the IAS out of your Frenzy. There we go. And I don't have a hard and fast rule. Look at this bulb flying around. That's pretty nice. I don't have a hard and fast rule for how you do that. Normally for myself, I find that you can just sort of count to 4 if you're, you know, constantly attacking. This is, of course, speaking of, like we are here, just completely unbuffed, right? You go up, you start swinging, you count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you've been swinging the whole time, I find that normally you will have built up enough stacks or whatever to be at the maxed amount. And then, you know, from that point, you have 6 seconds to do your zealing and whatever. That's why having the max one-handed zeal frame rate, it's why achieving that is so helpful, because that's a full second. It's quad 4 frames and then 9 at the end. So that's 25 frames, full second. You can count very easily how long you've been going, so you know how long you have left. And in case it's still not intuitive, or still doesn't, sort of make sense to you, all I'm really talking about is, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Refresh your frenzy, and then just count to 4 again. Or, if you have to run around a lot, like maybe you don't want to go to 4. If, say, you've got an enemy over here and another enemy over here, well, you want to go over here, Zeal, and then run over here. You don't want to lose your stack on the way, so maybe you only go to 3, and then you try to refresh your friend. Just kind of try to tailor it to where you are. And, and the reason I don't really suggest trying to go all the way to 5 is, I don't feel like I'm good enough to consistently not screw up and hit that 6th time and have to start all over again. Of course, as I'm showing you, it's not that big of a deal if you do mess up. Like, you just start over again. It's not that bad, and it's going to happen from time to time anyway. Especially, if you're not nearly as good at the game as you used to be, and you just get messed up and lose track of where you are. Or yell out at small children, "What is it? Where am I? Get off my lawn." That kind of thing. That not really conducive to going to the full 5 tax. As I said, though, this the Voice of Reason, I don't think it's really a build to go higher on player, on higher player settings, but I could be wrong. Like, maybe if maybe if you use Fortitude instead of Enigma, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure about trying to swap out Infinity for Reaper's Toll, just because, trying to get the attack rating seems like it would cost you a lot. I could be wrong. I mean, it could be that that's just fine, and where you really want that damage to come from, because you're dealing with a very small original number anyway. So it could just be that reducing resistance is where you want to be. But yeah, so that's the build, and thanks for watching. Cheers.